Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. So today we are continuing our ongoing coverage of the war between the Russian Federation and Ukraine. So first we need to clean up some information that went out yesterday. I had stated that the Ukrainians alleged that they had killed the commander of the Russian Black Sea Fleet in its recent strike on Sevastopol. Well, there is new information that is coming in that would argue that he is still alive. So apparently there is video evidence that he is alive and he was on this this video capture of him speaking with other key Russian leaders. So is this possible that this video was made during another time period prior to him possibly being whacked by a Storm Shadow cruise missile? Possibly. But at this point, we cannot say for certain if he is dead or alive. Obviously, the Russians released this to put egg on the face of the Ukrainian intelligence services. And again, I don't know at this point if the Ukrainian secret services are still saying that he is dead. But it's this individual down here to the bottom left of the video screen. So again, yes, we are still also trying to ascertain the various strikes that were executed by the NATO forces and Ukrainian forces. And look, again, as I've talked about in our prior video covering the strikes against Sevastopol, again, all the hallmarks of a NATO-U.S. operation. Again, do the Ukrainians have this kind of capability? And the short answer is no. And again, as I've talked about previously, it is much more complicated than just supplying Storm Shadow missiles. What the Ukrainians did in terms of hitting the Black Sea Fleet headquarters, hitting a Kilo-class diesel-electric sub in dry dock, and a amphibious warfare ship in dry dock, is something that was outside the scope of Ukrainian capability. Now, look, is it possible that the North Atlantic Treaty Organization assisted the Ukrainians in retrofitting Su-24s to be able to launch the Storm Shadow cruise missile? Yes, absolutely. And could it have been a Ukrainian Su-24 that launched a half dozen or so, or a dozen or so Storm Shadow cruise missiles? Yes, absolutely. But there were additional assets used in making that attack successful. And I talked about yesterday about the decoy missiles that and drones that have been used in the past, and we believe that those decoy systems and those jamming systems had to have been used in the ongoing operations in the Crimea. And what I mean by that, not just the attack against the Black Sea Fleet headquarters in Sevastopol, but the ongoing efforts to degrade Russian air defenses in and around the Crimean Peninsula. So again, I stand by my contention that that NATO is actively supporting the Ukrainian military in its ongoing efforts, especially in the area near Crimea. And again, we believe that is happening because of the setbacks that have occurred in the Zaporizhzhia offensive. I believe that if the Zaporizhzhia offensive would have achieved more objectives, if the Ukrainian military would have made a breakthrough and seized control of Tokmak and threatened Melitopol, then that attack on the Crimean Peninsula, Sevastopol, the Black Sea Fleet, may not have occurred. Again, that attack was designed to change the narrative of defeat, which was happening for Ukrainian forces south of Kyiv and other places in the Zaporizhzhia counteroffensive. This attack by NATO, by quote-unquote Ukrainian forces against these Russian assets in Crimea is taking the eyes off the failed offensive in Zaporizhzhia. Now we have to look at how effective these attacks really were. Did the Ukrainians simply bomb an empty building? Were the Russians of the understanding that NATO was coming for that building and then abandoned it? And if so, the Ukrainians simply destroyed an abandoned building. Now, we do know that other targets were hit in Crimea. We also know that hardened targets were hit in Crimea as well. And I stick to my synopsis that the capability that is being exhibited by the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, by the United States, enabling to penetrate Russian air defenses in the Crimea, definitely, in all probability, has the Russians concerned. So that's where we set for today. There has been no movement on the front lines in really any category, in any area of the front. We will continue to watch what is happening very, very closely. Thank you for joining us today. More to come. As always, have a good day.